thank you all for taking the time and energy, many coming from some distances. When I looked the other day, I realized that we're covered all the way from Quebec to BC with contributors here, and that's just a fantastic testament to the mission that we've set ourselves on.
To see all of you here, I welcome you because I think we all aspire to see change, quality of life for Indigenous people, the stereotypes, the biases, the pain that we see our people suffering. I think if we educate folks, we have a chance to change that. Now look at us, we are going to walk, and so thank you. You have helped enrich my life in so many ways.
The next few days will begin the convention of the Health Sciences Association of Alberta, where representatives of 27,000 members of our union will be in a convention hall making decisions about the future of our union. And starting on Friday will be the Walk for Common Ground, where members of HSAA, religious communities, and other like-minded will join in a walk from Edmonton to Calgary over 300 kilometers spanning 14 days. Our board understood that we know not enough about truth and reconciliation. But what we can do at HSAA is clear that space for those that have an understanding, that know what needs to be done next. As healthcare providers, it's about making people whole. That is the goal of every healthcare provider, is to work with these clients and patients to make them whole again into their lives. And how do we start to repair generations of damage that have gone on? I don't have that answer, but we have to have the conversations to find out where we go to find it.
You're proving as health science practitioners that we're no longer satisfied with the disproportionate impact on the social determinants of health that we see among the Indigenous people that we serve on a regular basis. Hopefully this becomes a start of larger dialogues, that we encourage other unions to take a similar position and really honestly make an action component out of truth and reconciliation. I'd like to pass it over to Pat just for a few words. Thank you.
Wow, my dear friend Scott, I thank him. As I sat here this morning listening to your Vice President Trudy, she said that we need to take a stand on the things that really matter. Well, I would suggest to you that treaties matter because we all benefit from those treaties. We have not had an opportunity to truly get to know each other. Every one of us in this room, we've all lost out. Because what I do know for sure is that historic trauma is rolling out every day in the lives of Indigenous people. And many of you on the front line see that every day. And that may create bias, and it may create stereotypes as we don't understand that history. I would encourage you to look at historic trauma, look at the research on adverse childhood experiences. We are called in our own teachings to come to understand each other as families. Red family, yellow family, black family, white family. When I listened this morning, I've never been to a meeting like this before. But what I have to believe is that you are going to live by what you're saying. Your speaker from Manitoba talked about mobilizing people. She talked about public engagement, and she talked about coalition building. We need you. I need you as my white family members, as my yellow family members, my black family members, to stand with us.
When someone asks why I'm walking, one of the things I think of is the HSAA mission statement, which is to make life more equitable for its members, but also for the rest of society. And I think this is such a great, impactful way to live those values.
A union decided to step past the bread and butter issues that it normally deals with on behalf of its members, to sort of call unionists back to some of their earliest traditions, like Pat has mentioned before, standing up for injustices, not just in the workplace, but in communities as well. You know, the unionists, because they had been able to sort of achieve a contract, had been able to sort of better the working conditions and benefits for themselves, never stopped there. It was always about bringing others along with.
I'm no better than my walking buddy. I'm no worse than my walking buddy. And that these treaties need to be honored, and the spirit and intent of these treaties are not being seen in settler, in Western communities. And we really need help with that. We really need help with that. So that's what I hope to walk away with. As Dr. Patricia Makokis says, more allies. Mark.
Yes, I'm here.
Patricia brought us here.
Yes.
But what makes you stay?
What makes me stay is a feeling of being in the right place at the right time. Now I think back to the civil rights movement in the 60s when I was born, and historically looking back on those who made those walks. The Indigenous way of knowing connects the mind, body, and spirit, and that's what I've learned from you. It's a moment in time that I feel that is it's a proper fit for me. There's nowhere else I'd rather be than here.
Me too.
If we are going to change the Canadian narrative, it's going to be because we will do it together. We're going to get into this history, and we're going to ask people to move from their head to their heart, to come into a space to have conversations together. And that by doing that, there is hope for a very different future.
All this time, I heard somebody say residential school, but I thought it was just another school. I didn't get curious. I didn't ask any questions. We need more people to understand. It is the beginning in my mind, in my heart, in my world. I began some relationships here that you haven't seen the last of me.
I've lived in Alberta for the last 11 to 12 years now. This is my first time ever that I'm experiencing prairies in this way. When my family immigrated to Canada, I had some very racist thoughts in my head as well, and I said some things that I regret saying, and thinking some things that I regret thinking even. And if we are not part of a solution, then we are the problem. When the treaties were made in the first place, it was about friendship. It's about sharing the land. It's about building relationships where, as the Tura Wampum that I've learned a lot about on this walk, where two cultures parallelly living side by side in harmony without having the audacity to change each other. We can influence each other, we can trade things, right? Trade culture, trade language, trade dances, but not imposing our laws on each other. It took a lot to organize this, and I'm just so grateful for them in taking that leadership that has now allowed me to take my leadership, and it inspires me. I can bring that voice back into Alberta Health Services. I can bring that voice back to as being a frontline worker, as being a respiratory therapist. You know, I can be educating even people that I work in the hospitals with or clinics with. And for me, going forward, that's going to be my journey.
The treaty carries the Creator's laws, that kindness, honesty, sharing, and strength. The treaties are forever. The treaties protect the lands, not only for us as Indigenous peoples, as the first peoples here. It protects the lands for all of us to live a good life here. And indeed, we shared the lands for that purpose, and we were instructed to. So I believe we're carrying on that kindness, honesty, sharing, and strength.
working in hospital, like I have always seen people talking about Indigenous people, saying that they are the most privileged people, they get everything free, and they abuse the system. So everyone kind of hated these people. I don't know where it was coming from. And the sad part is I couldn't even correct anyone, and that really bugs me now when I think about it. So I have a goal and I have a responsibility of correcting my fellow colleagues. I have to let them know the truth behind it. I have been to Muskagees. They are the kindest, respectful people you can find in the earth. They were so kind to us as strangers, and they were very loving. I'm a healthcare provider. For me, giving is always from my side. I never received this kind of kind and respect throughout my life because I was always the giving person. And this 15 days, I got a lot of love from all the people around me.
We started out as bimuhtewan, walking. After a while, I wepuan, we rest. Mitsuan, we ate. And then we talked, amskutamuan. We start to know about some of these laws. We start to know about kindness. Sewatsuan. We chugamatuan, helping each other. We did lots of matuan, we cried on the way. We did lots of agusketuntuan, we embraced each other. And we did lots of snamatuan, learning.
We are all treaty people. We are all called into this work. We are all called to lift up those Creator's laws of kindness and honesty and sharing and strength and determination through our prayers. It is with gratitude and love, that I know we are called into this work. It's us on the ground, those, grassroots, just common folk who really aspire to see a different world. And we do that one step at a time.